mulling this over when I happened to notice the shipwreck in Pound's Canto 23. That's the only shipwreck mentioned in the whole 800-page poem, in spite of all the nautical voyages described. Canto 23 also contains the line, with the sun in a golden cloud, which Yates has inspired his own
Science has been flying on instruments like a pilot in a fog ever since 1900.
The time sequence is all out of order. What was the idea of that last little gag? That sick trick is your idea of sport? What goddamn rotten, dirty motherfucker to do to a man?
AUM, AUM, was a product of the scientists at ELF, the Eurasian Liberation Front, and shared by them with the jams. An extract of hemp, boosted with RNA, the learning molecule. It also had small traces of the famous Frisco speedball, heroin, cocaine, and LSD. The effects seemed to be that the heroin stilled anxiety, the RNA stimulated creativity, the hemp and acid opened the mind to joy, and the cocaine was there to fit the law of fives. The delicate balance created no hallucinations, no sense of high, just a sudden spurt in what Akbar Chalene liked to call constructive gullibility.
James Joyce had 5 letters in both his front name and his hind name, so he was worth looking into. I wonder how he emphasized that. One of them coincidences, or one of them coincidences. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, said Akbar. Death itself is an illusion.
These people were talking like some of the Zen students and acid mystics George had known. If I could feel that way, he thought, I wouldn't be such a goddamn coward. Howard and Akbar must be enlightened. I've got to become enlightened. I can't stand living this way anymore. Whatever it took, acid alone wasn't the answer. George had tried acid already and he knew that while the experience might be wholly remarkable, for him, it left little residue in terms of changed attitudes or behaviour.
The keys to given, away, alone, alas, a love, a long. Why, them's the mushrooms come up during the night. Look, acres of roofs and pastures, dumb and damn, dim and dime, and in capital park for Olympics to play it. Steady on, Colossus, mind your stride or you'll knock while I'm dodging the dustbin. Look what I found, a limpid pea, and look at here, this currawee seed. Pretty mites, my sweetings, was they poor loves abandoned by whole a widey world? Neighbour lots for Newtown, the Ebla Magna, you be hazy held, blooming up out of Dublinas. The still summer sitter, I've lapped so long, as you said, it's fair.
Consciousness is present in the living body, even while it is apparently unconscious. Unconsciousness is not the absence of consciousness, but its temporary immobility.
First, it turns out they can detect me when they shouldn't have equipment good enough to do that. That small craft in the vicinity, they've got the Svak herself coming after me.
He was back in real time again, but the word had quotes round it in his mind now. And it always would.
From each equinoxious point of views, the one fellow's fetch being the other fellow's person, that is to see flying cushions out of his overall and making fesses amongst his forces on the field. Aye, aye, when the prisoner soaked and metilated appeared in dry dock.
What for the dog? You dance with your partner around the floor, you're trashy. And in the ear of the truth they tell you lots of fun at Vegas wake. What for the dog? You dance with your partner around the floor, you're trashy. And in the ear of the truth they tell you lots of fun at Vegas wake.
It's a dreadfully long monster of a book.
Blood says pettishly.
And I certainly won't have time to read it, but I'm giving it a thorough skimming. The authors are utterly incompetent, no sense of style or structure at all. It starts out as a detective story, switches to science fiction, then goes off into supernatural, and is full of the most detailed information of dozens of ghastly, boring subjects. And the time sequence is all out of order in a very pretentious imitation of Faulkner and Joyce. Worse yet, it has the most raunchy sex scenes thrown in just to make it sell, I'm sure. And the authors, whom I've never heard of, have the supreme bad taste to introduce real political figures into this mishmash and pretend to be exposing a real conspiracy. You can be sure I won't waste time reading such rubbish, but I'll have a perfectly devastating review ready for you by tomorrow noon.
Glass at a new island, not guessing that it will be named after himself.
Toe freaks are a splinter within a splinter. They're microscopic.